Okay, just remember, sorry, I should be wearing black or I should be wearing a pointed hat or something. I'm sorry. Please note if something goes wrong with the video, visually or audio, that it's Hewlett Packard and Best Buy's fault. They claim there's nothing wrong with my computer. So, fingers crossed, everything goes well. I'm hoping things go well. Welcome to the D. Louise Book Series. I'm Christina K-R-S-T-I-N-A. This is where we read books and talk about books. No special effects going on here. No fancy theme music. None of that stuff that other channels have. And my husband said I couldn't do this video without some supplies. And I couldn't afford a black wig. And I couldn't afford a hat. And I couldn't afford any paraphernalia. So I thought I'd go with this. What do you think? If I could figure out how to hang this behind me, anybody have a planter stand? You know, one of those hanging planter stands I could hang behind me? But this is my paraphernalia for this video. This is If Then video 32, I believe. We are getting in the Halloween spirit. I hope you watched last week with the horrors. Sorry. This week we are doing Halloween cozy style. I don't have too many reviews, but because I tried to choose more current, and as we know, my favorite magazine in the entire world ended in 2016. So some of the newer ones I don't have reviews for, but they're all really good authors. They've all gotten at least 4 to 4.5 stars over their life. They've all got really long-standing series. They are all amazing authors. So my arm is getting really, really tired here. So we're going to start with Halloween Cozy Edition. Shall we? Oh, and please do not forget to check out my Star Trek recaps on Fridays. And If Then, where if you like this author, then maybe you like that author. And this is the cozy edition for Halloween. And of course, Flashback Monday, where we talk about all the books in this magazine. They did over 250 a month. So I go through and I pick out 80 or so, sometimes 70, sometimes 80, sometimes 90 to review for you. Maybe you'll find something new and inspirational, or romance, or regency, or mystery, or suspense, or paranormal, or erotica, or contemporary romance. You do not know. So we're going through 20 cozy mysteries with the Halloween theme. That means a murder mystery taking place during Halloween time period. So I know you've heard of this lady. She's been around a while. She's very, very popular. She showed up in our cozy edition food. Laura Childs, Gossamer Ghost. This is a scrapbooking mystery. She also has the T series. So it got 4.5 stars. It's not officially October without a new spectacular scrapbooking mystery from Childs. Filled with Halloween festivities, this mystery comes alive with sights and sounds of the French Quarter as its residents revel in their favorite holiday. After a brutal murder, Carmela's sleuthing places her in grave danger as several close calls almost end her life. Plenty of parties, colorful characters, and the brutal murder of a shop owner make this mystery pure scary fun. Carmela is leaving her memory mime scrapbook shop when she hears strange noises coming from the neighborhood antique shop called Oddities. When Carmela stumbles through the shop's odd and macabre merchandise. She knocks over a wooden curio cabinet, and the bloody corpse of the shop owner, Marcus Gilbert, falls upon her. When Marcus's assistant Mavis reveals a very expensive Napoleon death mask was taken from the store, Carmela has found her motive for murder. Can Carmela track down a killer while the Halloween revelry provides an easy cover for him or her to strike again? Ah, um, I did this entire series. It's one of my favorite series. We just did a book the other day, and this is book 5, and I went back and I looked at the video that I did for this book originally. You can check this out, but be forewarned, there is audio problems with that video that I did not know or did not remember. We have The Diva Haunts the House. This is book 5 in the Domestic Diva series. There are lots of recipes. It always amazes me how Sophie just throws stuff together without even thinking about it, just pulls stuff out of her refrigerator and makes a gourmet meal. I pull stuff out of my refrigerator and I'm going to have some hot dogs. My once in a while we splurge for cold cuts, but that's Sophie does amazing things. She pulls out a loin of pork and all this fancy stuff. But this is the 5th mystery, and I also love the rivalry between her and Natasha. It's just the contrast between the two columns. Sophie, they both write advice columns, and Sophie writes common sense advice, and Sophie writes what the F advice. She's cute. But this is the 5th book in the series, and the rumor of a vampire named Victor supposedly living at one of the oldest houses in the neighborhood. It's supposedly they don't know, they've never seen him, they've just heard the rumors. They say he's really good looking though. But no one is taking it seriously. Sophie has been asked to decorate the house for Halloween. They wanted to make a werewolf room, a mummy room, a vampire room, and they wanted her to convert the kitchen over to a witch room with a full-on cauldron. Sophie decorations for a community haunted house are so good it's scary. Not to be outdone, rival domestic diva Natasha is throwing a spooktacular Halloween party at her house. But when Sophie arrives, she discovers one of Natasha's guests dead in a hair-raising Halloween display, and Pale Fang partygoer fleeing the scene. The cause of death is not immediately apparent, but the victim does have 2 puncture wounds in his neck. So you'll have to find out what happens there. We have Sophie is our main character, and then Winston, and Natasha, Nina, Wolf, Mars, Francine, Bernie, Daisy the dog, and Moochie the cat, who comes into being in the first book. But this is a really, really good series. I enjoyed the heck out of it. It's just... I just love this series. I could talk about it forever. Another good series. Did I have the... I don't think I had the thing for this. It was a dark and stormy night. That is I've looked it up. I've quoted it before in other videos. And I didn't look it up for this one. I should have. But a dark and stormy murder. A Writer's Apprentice mystery. Book 1. Carmela Graham's best-selling suspense novels inspired Lena London to become a writer. So when she lands a job as Camilla's new assistant, she can't believe her luck. Not only will she help her idol craft an enchanting new mystery, she'll get to live rent-free in Camilla's gorgeous Gothic home in the quaint town of Blue Lake, Indiana. But Lena's fortune soon changes from the worst first. The lands in the center of small town gossip for befriending the local recluse. Then she stumbles across one thing that Camilla Graham novel is never without, a dead body, found on her new boss's lakefront property. Now Lena must take a page out of one of Camilla's books to hunt down clues in a real crime that seems to be connected to the novelist's mysterious estate. Ah. Harry Singleton, who has a Smokey Joe. My Smokey is someplace. I don't know where she is. She's around someplace. She appears in other videos. But she has a cat, Smokey Joe. My Smokey is a female. And she's all gray. If she's shown up in other videos, you'll have to check those out. And she also has a ghost that helps her solve mysteries. The ghost lives in the library, and she doesn't tell her, oh, this this will lead to this, or direct facts. She tells her, she beats around the bush and hints at it around the corner, and don't do this, or maybe you should do that, or I don't know, maybe, I don't know. And Carrie always wonders how the ghost changes her clothes, where she gets her fashions from. Does she just materialize them? I love this series, and she's supposedly getting married in the next new book. We haven't gotten that far yet. But I love this Carrie Singleton series. She's in Good with the Police. She's got her new boyfriend. She's reconciling with her parents. She had came to town as a goth girl, and living with her aunt and uncle, and then she got promoted to this position, and she got rid of her goth persona and started out. Excuse me, no scratching the back of my couch. It seems the gray one has shown up. Oh, this Smokey! Tearing the heck out of the back of my couch. I need to get a selfie stick so I can put it with a motion thing, so that when she shows up and does really cute things, I have it on film. I take out my camera, everybody freezes. Nobody moves. Try and help mommy out for a video or two. No, not my crew. They know better. So Carrie solves mysteries each book. She's always getting into these little finagling things, but it all takes place in a library, and we all love libraries. And this series showed up. I did a book, Cozy. So you have to go check out that book, Cozy. Book if them. I love cozies. Carrie Singleton is just about done with Clover Ridge, Connecticut, until she's offered a job as the head of programs and events at the spooky local library, complete with its own librarian ghost. Her first major event is a program presented by retired homicide detective Al Buckley, who claims he knows who murdered Laura Foster, a library aide who was bludgeoned to death 15 years earlier. As he invites the audience to share stories about Lena, he suddenly keels over. He's been poisoned. The medical examiner reveals that he was poisoned, and Carrie feels responsible for having surged forward with the program. Despite pushback from her director, driven by guilt, Carrie is determined to discover who murdered the detective. This is a good series, and she gets Smokey Joe and Evelyn the ghost, and it's all in good fun. I love this series. I love it. Hey, Smokey. Come here. Come here. Come on. Be a good girl. Come on up here. Show yourself. Come on. Come on. Come here. Come here. Come here. Alright. Another lady we talked about in the food segments of the cozies. Cleo Coyle. She does the coffee Death by Mocha book series. The Ghost and the Stolen Tears. The Ghost and the Haunted Portrait. While gathering a collection of vintage book cover paintings for a special event in her quaint Rhode Island bookshop, Penelope discovers a spooky portrait of a beautiful woman, one who supposedly went mad, and according to town gossip, Seymour, the local mailman, falls in love with the haunting image and buys the picture, refusing to part with it, even as fatal accidents befall those around it. Is the canvas cursed, or is something more sinister at work? And Norma's other working job as a housekeeper in the Finch Inn that gets her in trouble. Norma is accused of stealing jewels from a guest room, the legendary Valentino teardrops, an antique necklace and earring set inherited by a young socialite. Penn does not believe Norma is guilty of the crime, though the evidence is distressingly strong. And when the spirited Norma vanishes before her arrest, Penn turns to another spirit. Jack Shepherd PI may have been gunned down decades ago, but his memory has not been ghosted. Back in the 1940s, the same Valentino teardrop starred in a bizarre case of betrayal and murder. Check it out. Cleo Coyle, and don't forget the coffee ones. Another group of ladies, this is an anthology, that has been around quite a while. I know these. I picked all these authors because I know them and I'm familiar with them. Leslie Meir, Lee Hollis, and Barbara Ross. Haunted House Murder. The Halloween spirit is alive in coastal Maine, but it is paired with strange happenings. In Haunted House Murder, Lucy Stone unravels mystery involving a missing boy and the owners of a dilapidated house in Tinker's Cove. In Death by Haunted House, a dispute between buyers and the realtor for the abandoned house next door to Haley Powell ends with the realtor vanishes. If Bar Harbor's newest residents are murderers, Haley will hunt them down until they confess. In Hollowed Out, a reenactment of the Prohibition-era gangster's murder leads to an actor's actual death, and Julia Snowden must identify a killer before she ends up sleeping with the fishes. Not good. Where is my little thing here? Valerie Wilson Wesley. We're going to see this again when I do the construction. Until now, Odessa Jones' inherited ability to read emotions and foretell danger has protected her, but second sight didn't warn her she would soon be a widow and about to lose her home and the catering business she's worked so hard to build. The only things keeping Dessa going are her love for baking and her sometimes mellow cat, Juniper. Unfortunately, by putting her life back together means taking a gig at all kinds of shady real estate firm run by Violet owner Charlie Risco. Until Charlie is brutally killed and Dessa's bullied coworker is arrested for the murder, Dessa can't be sure who's guilty, but it doesn't take a psychic to discover that everyone from Charlie's much abused staff to his long-suffering younger wife had multiple reasons to want him dead. Interesting. I'm going to be reading this one too. A Spell for Trouble. Esme Addison. Alexandra Daniels hasn't set foot in the quiet seaside town of Bellamy Bay, North Carolina in over 20 years. Ever since her mother's tragic death, her father has mysteriously forbidden her from visiting her aunt and cousins. But on a whim, Alex accepts an invitation to visit her estranged relatives and to help them in family business, an herbal apothecary, known for its remarkably potent teas, salves, and folk remedies. Bellamy Bay doesn't look like trouble, but this town that harbors dark secrets. Alex discovers that her own family is the center of salacious town gossip. Smoke. And they are rumored to be magical healers descended from mermaids. Come here. Come here. Here we go. Here's my Smoky Joe. My girl Smokey. My Smokey came first before I discovered the books. And I don't want to be on TV, Mommy. I don't. Let's see. Um, she brushes this off as nonsense until a local is poisoned and her Aunt Lydia is arrested for the crime. Alex is certain Lydia is being framed and she resolves to find out why. Descended from mermaids. Well, that's diff. Calypso, Corpse, and Cooking, a Caribbean kitchen mystery. Raquel V. Reyes. In Miami, Cuban American cooking show star Miriam Smith wakes up to find a corpse in her yard. The body is a woman that was kicked out of the school's festival the day before. Miriam's luck does not improve. Her mother-in-law puts her in charge of the women's club gala. While making plans at the country club, she overhears an argument between the head chef and the club's manager. Not long after, the chef dives to his death at the bottom of the grand staircase. As the body count goes up, Miriam's life is put in jeopardy. Another anthology by some Scottish authors that we like so much. The Ho Ho Homicide. We will see that for our Christmas edition of the cozies. Oh, I got it. Ah, it. Halloween Cupcake Murder. Carleen O'Connor, Liz Ireland, and Carol Perry. All authors we are very familiar with. In Halloween Cupcake Murder by Carleen O'Connor, Tara Mean finds herself tangled in a mystery with ancient Gaelic roots, but very modern and very deadly consequences. In Mrs. Claus and the Candy Corn Caper by Liz Ireland tragically strikes at Santa Land's newest bakery. The only clue is a cupcake, leaving Mrs. Claus to sort through the tricks and treats as she races to unmask a Halloween fiend. A triple-layer Halloween murder by Carol J. Perry. Rumors swirl after a wealthy baker owner goes missing. Now Lee must conjure clues to reveal the missing millionaire or the truth about his disappearance. Sounds interesting. Uh, Another lady that I've read most of her. I got interested in her because of the vampires. As you can see behind me, the vampires. And so this is a Panic Premonition. This is a Psychic Eye book by our cute Lori. I always think her books are cute. Professional psychic and FBI consultant Abby Cooper has used her visions to get her out of many a scrape and solve many crime, but she's about to face a murder scene that will put all the powers to her test. Abby's husband Dutch has a side business providing security and building panic groups for the wealthy. One morning, one of Dutch's partners, Dave, goes missing on his way to meet a client. Abby's instincts tell her something terrible has happened to him. Then two of Dutch's clients are found brutally murdered inside their brand new panic room, and most of the evidence points to Dave as the killer. With authorities racing to find and arrest him, Abby's got to use all her intuitive powers to get to Dave first, discover the real killer, and save her husband's business. She's got to work hard there. A family skeleton mystery. The Skeleton Makes a Friend by Lee Perry. Georgia Thackeray is feeling pretty good about her summer job teaching a prestigious Overfield college, and she's renting a rustic cabin right by a lake for herself. Her daughter Madison and her best friend Sid the Skeleton. The trio is enjoying the quiet when a teenager named Jen shows up looking for somebody. Georgia doesn't recognize the name, but she learns that the person Jen was looking for is actually Sid. Sid reveals that he and Jen are part of an online gaming group and one of their members has gone missing. Sid admits that he might have bragged about his investigative prowess, enough so that Jen wants him to find their missing players. Given that Sid doesn't have many friends online, none really, unless you count the Thackeray family, Georgia agrees to help him search. See what happens there. Another library. I love me some libraries. Gotta have a library. Gotta love a library. The Spook in the Stack. Sleepy Hollow. A Lighthouse Mystery by Eva Gates. Wealthy businessman Jay Rudel is considering donating his extensive collection of North Carolina historical documents to the Bodie Island Lighthouse Library, but the competition for the collection is fierce. Unfortunately, while the library is hosting a lecture on ghostly legends, Jay becomes one of the dearly departed in the rare books section. Now it's up to Lucy Richardson and her fellow librarians to bone up on their detective skills and discover who is responsible for this wicked Halloween homicide. Meanwhile, very strange things are happening in the library. Haunted horses are materializing in the marsh. The lights seem to have an eerie life of their own. And the tiny crew of the model ship appears to move around when no one is watching. Spooky. 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 Another lady that's into food, and we will see her again in the Christmas cozies. A catered costume party. Iris Crawford. When sisters Bernie and Libby Simmons agreed to cater an extravagant Halloween party in their little upstate New York town of Long Lane, they figure a ghost or two and a blood-curdling scream might be part of the menu, but they never expected to be haunted by the deadly specter of murder. Halloween is coming, and Darius Witherspoon isn't giving up on his plan for a catered costume party. Despite the recent disappearance of his wife, Penelope, he may be brokenhearted, but perhaps throwing a big shindig in her honor will boost his spirits. He's going to hold it at his stylish new co-op apartment at the Berkshire Arms, where the couple had dreamed of moving in. He's having a party, and his wife is missing. Uh-huh. Did he do something to her? Curious minds want to know. Darius hires Bernie and Lily to provide the treats. They prefer to avoid the festivities altogether. As far as they're concerned, the Berkshire Arms is haunted, or at least haunted by the memory of the murder that happened on the site, when it used to be the Peabody School. But as always, there are bills to be paid, so they accept the job, and in the midst of celebration, Darius is discovered hanging? Well, then maybe he didn't do his wife. Was it suicide over guilt, or was it murder? I thought this was a cute title. Catch Me If You Candy. Ellie Alexander. Jules Capture and her team have been baking up Autumn Delights tick or tort bags filled with sugar cookies, cut-out spice cider, and mummy munch. It's the end of the season at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, which means that the costumes for the parade are going to be out of this world. The elaborate guises extend to pets. The grand marshal of this year's pet is no other than Regal Pug, aptly named King George. Jules is delighted to get to share the experience with Carlos and Ramiro, but things take a turn when she discovers a dragon slumped in front of the bake shop. And he's deceased. In the Company of Witches, Aurelie Wallace. For 400 years, the Warren witches have used their magic to quietly help the citizens of the sleepy New England town of Even Falls thrive. There's never been a problem they couldn't handle. Then Constance Graves dies while staying at the witch's bed and breakfast. At first, it seems like an accident, but it soon becomes clear that there's something more sinister at work. Aunt Nora is shaping up to be the prime suspect. There's nothing Brim Warren wants more than to prove Nora's innocence, and hurts knowing that even 2 years ago it might have been easier. Brian, after all, is a witch of the dead, a witch who can summon with ghosts, but she hasn't used her powers since her husband died, and isn't even sure she still can. Summon the lady and ask her what happened. That'd be too easy. They gotta make it a little more difficult than that. Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant. Darcy Hannah. Lindsay prefers to keep her bake shop Halloween decor light and autumnal, rather than gruesome and ghoulish, but everyone knows her lighthouse home is haunted. Some intrepid teams have even tried to break in to witness the resident ghosts themselves. Dreading Halloween night, Lindsay reluctantly allows her influencer and podcaster best friend Kennedy to host a live ghost haunting investigation in the lighthouse. Conducted by a professional team protective of her ghost, Lindsay is understandably nervous about what they might discover. Another food cozy that's been around a while, Nancy Coco. Fudge Bites. It's late October and it's time for the annual Zombie Walk charity event. Allie follows the bloody tracks of her calico cat Camilla to a body in the alley behind the historic McMurphy Hotel and Fudge Shop. Unlike the island's other Walking Dead, this one's flatlined for good. Oops. And a series I think I'll be picking up in the next couple weeks because it looks good. The Bailey Ruth series, this has been around for a while. Ghost ups her game. After a busy morning dispatching emissaries from Heaven's Department of Good Intentions to those in need, Bailey Ruth Rayborn is feeling flushed with success. So when an urgent call for help comes through from her old hometown, she can't resist taking the mission herself. With the shouted warning of her boss Wiggins' irregular problematic ringing in her ears, she arrives to face a shocking scene. Professor Iris Gallagher leaning over the corpse of her colleague Matt Lambert, and the murder weapon is clutched in her hand. Oops! And can't go by without featuring some of my Romantic Times book review. I love this magazine. Look Both Ways. 4 stars. Carol J. Perry. The Witch series continues with a strong and spooky installment. The haunting ambience of Salem, Massachusetts makes this the perfect setting. An old oak bureau with secret compartments and a famous local murder add to the mystery of the plot. The psychic elements enhance the story. The effect is entertaining, paranormal cozy, with plenty of secrets and blonde-haired, blue-eyed suspects to keep the readers guessing till the end. I am missing a book. All right, let me see if I can do this. Lee Barrett decides to purchase an oak bureau that resembles one from her childhood. Tolliver's antiques and unique. She meets the shop owner, Shay Tolliver. Shay informs Lee that the bureau came from the estate of a murdered woman, Helena Trent. After the bureau is delivered, Lee returns to the shop, where she finds the woman dead. Some point the finger at Shay's old business partner. However, Lee wonders if the murder is connected to the old bureau with its secret compartments. And I am missing a block. I am missing a book. I know it's here. Please stay okay. Hold on. There. I found it. It was next to me. Okay. Um, so I wanted to do. Please check out my Flashback Mondays. And I hope the audio on this video is still working. I hate that I do all this work. I do a lot of work for these videos, and it takes a long time to put them all together. Oh, I missed one. Okay. 4 stars. Home for the Haunting. I started this series. I started the other series. She has a witch series too. Julie Blackwell. In the 4th installment of Blackwell's fun haunted home renovation series, she delves into a shocking murder from the past. This story, with the usual characters as well as some new faces, is fascinating. Contractor and amateur Ghostbuster Mel Turner is volunteering with Neighbors Together, a local charity that fixes the homes of those in need and notices spirits in the windows of the house next door. Curious, she learns that the neighborhood kids call it the murder house, since the family that lived there was murdered by the father and only 2 of the children escaped. When a body turns up in the shed, Mel is compelled to find the cause of death. See what happens there. And do this one. Pretty Hearses. It only got 3 stars. It's the only one with 3 stars. Dayam's latest bed and breakfast mystery features twists and turns to keep the readers guessing. Longtime fans will enjoy it. Judith wonders how she ever got talked into donating an overnight stay at Hillside Manor for a fundraising auction. Meanwhile, her husband Joe's latest surveillance job ends badly when the suspect is shot dead on Joe's watch and the police detain him. Judith has her own mystery to solve when a guest checks in and then mysteriously checks out without Judith knowing. The lady might be a perpetrator of identity theft. Now Judith needs to fit all the pieces of the puzzle together to solve the crime and bring her husband home. And I just thought I would I have 2 more here. Oh, it's not even in here. Oh well. Alright. We're just gonna throw these last 2 in here. I just thought a Sookie Stackhouse. This will end up on a home improvement cozy. For any homeowner who's ever wondered what's that creaking sound, or fans of how-to television who'd like a little unreality mixed in with the reality shows, these 14 authors have constructed stories to shake your foundations and rattle your pipes. Charlene Harris, If I Had a Hammer, Sookie Stackhouse, and Sam are helping with the home renovations after Tara's twins are born when an unexpected knocked-out wall adds an unexpected ghost. Vampire Ella Gray buys a condo to renovate, but soon learns that February in Chicago can be a very unforgiving month. The Mission of the Imperative by James Grady. 2 married couples decide to make a killing by rehabbing a crumbling Gothic mansion. Blood on the Wall by Heather Graham proves that even the family tomb needs a little TLC. That's cute. Alright, this last one of my favorite authors, and I've done most of her books on this podcast. And Meg Lanzo, she starts out single, and she meets her boyfriend, and they date for a couple of books, and then they get married, and then they move to this big farm, and she does iron blacksmithing work, like weather-vaned, fancy schmancy kind of stuff like that. and she participates in all these different contests to get her in trouble, and historical stuff. I like the history that she brings into it. And the animals, she's all about the animals and saving the animals, and she reconciles with her grandfather, and her father learns who his father is, and it's really awesome. But this one is Donna Andrews, Lord of the Wings. The brilliantly funny Donna Andrews bats up the spook factor with another mystery in the award-winning New York Times best-selling series. Ghosts, witches, zombies, vampires, pirates, and robots is a Halloween in Caerphilly, and the town throwing a spooky festival as part of its never-ending quest to increase tourism and put the local economy in black. And for once, Meg Langlo's not in charge of the whole thing, only heading up the Goblin Patrol, the volunteer security force recruited to help the police keep order during the festival. But then a dead body turns up in the woods outside town. The Goblin Patrol uncovers a creepy Halloween-themed scavenger hunt that might have something to do with the murder. And the woman who's filling Meg's usual role as chief organizer disappears. Can Meg find the killer while keeping the festival on track, and most important, help her 6-year-old sons devise their perfect Halloween costumes? She's got some interesting friends, some interesting parents, and we will see her at Christmas for the cozy Christmas because I love her mother and Christmas. I would wish her mother would come over and decorate my house for Christmas. It would be awesome. So I hope you enjoyed some of these books. I hope you might discover to read some of these books. I only can do what I can do, and it's Halloween. And where's my little special effects? This was the cozy special effect courtesy of the dollar store, or $1.25 now. They're $1.25 now. And this was the one I used for the horror. So that's it. $2.50 for 10 seconds. Did I spend my $2.50 well? If you could please hit the like and subscribe, and I hope you watched Star Trek earlier today. And please definitely, absolutely, 100% check out Flashback Monday and my daily book reviews. Probably starting a new series about now. We just about finished with J.O. Ward's Black Dagger Brotherhood one, the last book or so. And we're getting to the last book of James Patterson's Alex Cross series until the new one comes out. And we're going to be starting Catherine Coulter's FBI series, Sherlock and Savage. And people waste no time in saying, no, Sherlock. Have a good one. I hope this video worked.